What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including incredibly sad news for Maryse. Have WWE changed the Money in the Bank rule? Major Elimination Chamber spoilers? The Rock responds to false claims made against him? Prichard breaks his silence on the Vince allegations? The Undertaker says this WWE star has it, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new website, Wrestlelamia.com. Now let's see the intro and get straight into our first story. Now, first story unfortunately looks at very sad news regarding Maryse. Now, my top story today shares some unfortunate news regarding former Divas champion Maryse. Maryse took to Instagram yesterday to reveal to her fans that she's been diagnosed with a rare pre-cancer of the ovaries. Maryse revealed that she had been suffering from severe abdominal distension and swelling. She was also suffering from extreme fatigue, and her problems eventually became chronic. Maryse stated that she saw countless doctors, but nobody could tell her what was happening. Thankfully, Maryse would end up meeting a doctor in LA, and this is when the doctor finally listened to her and her diagnosis was discovered. From the start, when I met Thas at her office in LA, she listened to my story, truly listened. She heard me, a doctor's quality that makes a tremendous difference, and agreed that we had to push to get to the bottom of this. She always said, "No one knows your body better than you." She proposed we go in there and find out. I was ready. A week ago, I went into surgery with Dr. Thas. She performed a laparoscopy surgery for what we thought at the time was potentially endometriosis disease. She continued by saying she found and removed 11 implants around my uterus, ovaries, and all the connective tissues around the organs in my abdominal cavity. These were sent to pathology for testing. 3 days later, the labs came back. No endometriosis. All 11 implants came back as serious borderline tumors, a very rare pre-cancer of the ovaries. Very sneaky and aggressive. If those became cancer, the survival rate is less than a year. So what happens next? I'm scheduled for total hysterectomy surgery in 4 weeks. My uterus, ovaries, fallopian tubes, cervix, omentum will be removed, and will get abdominal lymph nodes removed for staging. In a heartfelt post, Maryse revealed that she's remaining positive and she's determined to beat it. Maryse hopes that a diagnosis will bring awareness to issues within women's healthcare. We here at Wrestlelamia extend our well wishes to not just Maryse, but the Miz and her family, and wish her a very speedy recovery. Next up, have WWE introduced a new Money in the Bank rule. A current Money in the Bank holder, Damian Priest, has received a ton of criticism for failing to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase. Priest has endless opportunities to cash in the prestigious briefcase, yet WWE have been unwilling to commit to having Priest call a shot. In fact, as of right now, Damian Priest only has 141 days left to cash in his Money in the Bank contract, otherwise it will be null and void. In a recent interview with the West Sport, Senior Money in the Bank claimed that it's legitimately impossible for him to cash in on Rollins as Rollins isn't medically cleared. Well, obviously I'm based on Raw, and being that Seth Rollins is a champion, unfortunately he's not medically cleared, so I can't cash it in right now because he officially can't be in a match. So I kind of just have to wait until he's cleared, or if I find myself on another show, it'd be different, but that champion isn't around all the time either. It's one of those things about me biding my time. I still have until July 1st, and I have plenty of time, so I don't want to risk doing something I shouldn't, Like you said, 5 times I've attempted it but didn't cash in. I'd rather that than a failed cash in, right? Priest continued by saying, "So I'm just being extra careful right now because this is not going to go to waste. In my head, I have to become world champion, whether it's on Raw or SmackDown. Either way, I have to become a major title holder and have to be extra careful about it. So I still have the time, and obviously we got WrestleMania coming up, and that's always a good time around that. Whether it be Mania or the SmackDown before, the Raw after, it's always an exciting time, so you never know what could happen." The WWE have never truly committed to this rule in the past. It was declared a rule back in 2011 where Daniel Bryan attempted to cash in on Mark Henry, yet there have been numerous times that the Money in the Bank holder has cashed in on an injured champion. Next up, The Undertaker says this WWE star has it. The Undertaker's 6 Feet Under podcast is always an interesting listen, as we get to hear The Undertaker discuss his thoughts on the current WWE product. One star who the dead man is a huge fan of is former NXT champion Bron Breakker. On the latest edition of his podcast, the dead man claimed that Breakker has it, and he applauded WWE for taking the time of Breakker's official call-up to the main roster. Next up, Becky Lynch buries Women's World Champion. Although WWE are holding an elimination chamber to determine Rhea Ripley's opponent for WrestleMania 40, it seems like a certainty that Becky Lynch will win the matchup. The match has already been heavily teased on TV, and it was even teased at the WrestleMania kickoff press conference. And now Lynch has taken a feud with Ripley one step further, as during an interview with Instinct Culture, Lynch discussed Ripley's title reign, and Lynch didn't exactly have positive things to say regarding this respective run. Really, for me, it's taking that title and making it relevant again. She's been walking around, I'm the best, I'm the greatest. You don't do anything, you don't defend it. You just walk around holding it like it's a little trophy. She has all the potential, she has all the goods, she's great. She has a natural finesse, but I have a scrappiness and a heart and a passion that is undeniable, and I don't think she can compete with that. I want that. I want our champion to have heart and to care. The question is that title not represented because Rhea doesn't care or because she's lazy? Which one is it? We're gonna find out. Next up, Tony Khan comments on the WWE's Netflix deal. It was only a matter of time before AEW president Tony Khan was asked for his thoughts on WWE moving to Netflix, and the question surfaced when Khan appeared on Pain and Pendergast. Khan was asked if WWE moving to Netflix benefits the world of wrestling, and this is what Khan had to say. Absolutely, we're excited to get big media rights renewals in the wrestling business. That's great to see for everybody. We're in a big contract year too, and I think AEW is going to get big media rights. Right now we have a great partnership on TBS and TNT that I want to continue for a long time. We've been on since 2019, it's 5 years now we're going on TBS and TNT, and it's been great, and I want to keep going because there's a great tradition of wrestling on those channels. Next up, The Rock denies false claims made against him. Internet commentator Nick Sauter called out The Rock on Twitter this weekend as he claimed that fans during the WrestleMania kickoff press conference were booing The Rock due to issues with The Rock promising millions of dollars in aid to the Maui fire victims. Obviously, as wrestling fans, we know this isn't why anyone was booing The Rock, and The Rock felt like he had no choice but to clap back at Sauter on Twitter. I typically refrain from responding to toxic, false clickbait garbage like this because I hate dignifying bullshit with a response, but when you use Hawaii's tragic events to draw attention to yourself, I won't stay quiet. This moment you're referring to is from our WWE press conference this past Thursday where I turned heel, wrestling parlance for bad guy. I'm playing it up with the crowd as they boo. It's what we do in our WWE universe, and we all love to see every second of it. Also in The Rock's tweet, the Great One set the record straight and confirmed that Sauter's claims when it comes to the Maui aid are completely bogus. And for the record, Our People's Fund of Maui has already delivered over $50 million to over 8,000 survivors who were affected by the fires, and I'm grateful to the bone that we've been the primary funders. Next up, major Elimination Chamber spoilers. Now the following information contains major spoilers for the Elimination Chamber event in 13 days. So we have a huge spoiler warning in effect, and if you don't want to hear it, please check out the next story. Now yesterday it appeared that WWE had accidentally leaked a graphic showing the names of the wrestlers set to compete in the Women's Chamber match. Fans were unsure if this was legitimate, however the graphic did turn out to be the real deal when later in the day PW Insider reported a list of names set for the Women's Chamber. PW Insider stated that the plan for the match is to feature Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, Liv Morgan and Jade Cargill. This is a stacked lineup and potentially the most star-studded Women's Chamber match in WWE history. Next up, Sonya Deville marries her partner. Now congratulations to Sonya Deville, who tied the knot with her fiancé on Saturday to her fitness model and fiancé, Tony Cassano. Many WWE wrestlers were in attendance, including Charlotte Flair and Andrade, Bayley, Montez Ford and Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Mackenzie Mitchell, Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green, Mandy Rose and Vic Joseph. We here at Wrestlelamia wish all the best to the couple. Next up, Bruce Prichard breaks silence on Vince's allegations. Now our final story today takes a look at recent comments from a certain WWE executive who has finally broken his silence when it comes to the Vince McMahon lawsuit. WWE Executive Director Bruce Prichard, who is a lifelong ally of Vince McMahon, was asked on his Something to Wrestle podcast to comment on the McMahon lawsuit, and as expected, Prichard stated that he's not at liberty to say anything. I'm not at liberty to discuss any legal matters of the company whatsoever. To that, there is nothing that I can say. There can't be a response from the legal standpoint. You can ask until you're blue in the face and that's going to be your answer. I'm not involved, I'm not being sued, I'm not being accused of anything. It's a legal matter. He continued on by saying, sometimes it's as simple for those who believe no explanation is needed. For those that don't, no explanation will do. That's kind of where we are. Let the rest of it sit in the hands of the fine legal system we have here in the US. But there you have it folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.